everyone, it's Carmony from Longgame.haf. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know about you, but I have noticed that recently when I'm out and about, which isn't very often, I have seen more and more people with these little devices on them. And if you didn't already know, these are actually called continuous glucose monitoring devices. They are constantly measuring someone's blood sugar levels. And if you're a podcast listener, you may have seen on the Diary of a CEO podcast that they have actually teamed up with a company called Zoe that makes these devices available to pretty much anyone that wants one for a monthly fee, of course. But there's actually a few companies now making these devices, and in America they seem to be quite popular as well as in the UK, and here in Australia I am definitely seeing more of them around. And don't get me wrong, this is amazing technology and can be very helpful for some people, but since anyone can now get their hands on one, I just wanted to make a video to discuss these in more detail, to let you know how they work, why they are useful, but more importantly, who actually needs them and who doesn't need them. Because I'm starting to think that we may be going down the slippery road to over-monitoring our health. So let's just get into it. So first things first, what exactly is a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM for short? Well, it is a wearable device and it will track your blood sugar levels in real time. So it actually gives you a much more accurate picture of what is going on with your blood sugar levels when compared to the traditional finger pricking method that we had before this type of technology came along. So usually, people may have a blood glucose meter that looks something like this, and they will also have some test strips to go along with it. And then at certain points during the day, such as before eating, after eating, or after exercise, they will prick their finger, get some blood onto the test strip, put it into the meter, and then it would give you the blood sugar reading. But now with these CGMs, the device or the sensor is placed somewhere on the body, like the arm, shoulder, or even the abdomen, and it will stay there and measure glucose levels every few minutes. These devices will come with an app for your phones, and essentially will send all the information on blood glucose levels to your phone, where it will display your blood sugar levels. And also it can show you the trends and patterns of your blood sugar levels over time, so that you can see what is happening throughout a whole day or a week. And some of the devices will actually alert you if blood sugar goes too high or too low. So why is this useful? Well, we all know that high blood sugar is not good for our health, especially if you have type 2 diabetes. I have made so many videos on this. So by being able to track blood glucose levels, you will be able to see if your sugar levels are trending higher, and in particular, you will be able to see when your blood glucose actually spikes. And in my previous video, I actually talked about blood sugar spikes and how if they happen frequently, it can cause some health issues, especially if you have type 2 diabetes. So a lot of people are using these devices to track when their blood sugar is spiking and trying to see whether it's certain foods that are causing it, and then making changes if they can. Because everyone's blood sugar is quite unique. We all will actually respond to foods differently. So this is one way that people are trying to figure out how their blood sugar responds to different foods, but also to different activities such as exercise. So basically, these devices are all about helping people to manage their blood sugar levels. But the thing that I want to talk about is who actually needs this? Because these devices are not cheap. They're also a little invasive. They do have to go on you and stay on you and inject into you. And if you have diabetes, there may be some subsidies to help with costs, but for everyone else, you need to pay. So let's start with the people who definitely can benefit from CGMs. People with diabetes, and that is both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. When you have diabetes, it makes sense that you need to monitor your blood sugar levels, because if they go too high, then you increase the risk to damage of blood vessels and nerves, which in the long run can lead to heart disease, vision problems, kidney issues, nerve damage, just to name a few. And the benefit of having blood sugar continuously monitored is that you can see how often you are having blood sugar spikes. And of course, the more frequent these are and the higher the spike, then the higher the risk of all these issues appearing. But also, if you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, you may be on insulin to help reduce blood sugar levels. And a major issue with insulin is the risk of blood sugar actually going too low. So these continuous glucose monitors can help here, as well as it will help you see if your blood sugar is dropping a bit too low or if your insulin dose needs adjusting based on exercise and food, because that is quite a challenge for people that need to take insulin. Now, another group of people that could benefit from continuous glucose monitoring are actually elite athletes, and that is because blood sugar is an important thing for athletes to manage during their training and during competitions. By using a CGM, athletes can see how different foods and carbohydrates impact their blood sugar levels, which means they can adjust the food that they eat before, during, and after a training session to make sure they avoid any blood sugar spikes or dips. And this can help them maintain stable blood sugar levels. But it's not just about the food. Exercise also impacts on blood sugar, so athletes will be able to see how their training is affecting their levels and then of course adjust anything if they need to. It can also help tell athletes if they are overtraining, because overtraining can lead to long-term blood sugar fluctuations. And finally, being able to get some real-time information on blood sugar isn't just beneficial for the athlete alone. They usually have teams helping them train, so everyone can get insight and help optimize performance because of the information that the CGM is providing. So those are really the only groups of people that I think really need to have these CGMs. People with diabetes, so that's type 1 and type 2, and also gestational diabetes for pregnant women, but also elite athletes. So what about the rest of us? What if you don't have issues with your blood sugar? Do you need this? In my opinion, no. I think there is such thing as over-monitoring your health, and I'm worried that we are heading that way because there has been this huge trend with longevity and fighting off aging, and that's all leading to people obsessing over every single detail of their health. And I get it, I'm promoting people living a healthy lifestyle so that they prevent health issues later on in their life. But crossing that line into wearing a continuous blood glucose monitor to track blood sugar, or wearing an Apple Watch to track your heart rate and blood pressure, or track every nutrient that is going into your body, this is just going to lead to stress and anxiety over health for a lot of people. And the time that you spend monitoring your health could really just be spent on making those lifestyle changes that you know you need to make. Blood sugar levels go up and down. That is a completely normal thing. It's part of your body keeping things in balance and regulating itself. When you eat, blood sugar will go up. And I think my biggest concern is people using this and thinking that anytime blood sugar rises, it's a bad thing. And then they may try cutting out the food that triggered that rise. So, for example, fruit will cause a spike in blood sugar, but they give you a huge benefit to health because of their vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And the last thing that we need is for people to stop eating fruit because of the fear of a short and slight increase to blood sugar, which is a very normal process for the average person. So if you are a healthy adult, blood sugar spikes aren't actually something you need to be stressing about. What you can do is spend time trying to make those small changes and reduce the amount of foods that we know will cause a blood sugar spike. And those are the simple carbohydrates, which I have talked about in previous videos. We don't need a device to tell us that these will cause a blood sugar spike. We know this, so we can just try to reduce them in our diets. So those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your opinions. Do these continuous blood glucose monitors help you out? Do you think we need them? Let me know in the comments. If you learned something or just enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. I put out a new video every Friday that can help educate you on health in some way. Have a great week, see you in the next video, and until then, keep playing the long game.